inside your tiny mind, then look a bit harder. 'Cause we're so uninspired, so sick and tired of all the hatred you harbor. So you say it's not okay to be gay. Well, I think you're just evil. You're just some racist who can't tie my laces. Your point of view is medieval. That's not how you find it. Do you really enjoy living a life that's so hateful? 'Cause there's a hole where your soul should be. You're losing control of it, and it's really distasteful. To go to war, well, you're already in one. 'Cause it's people like you that need to get slew. No one wants your opinion.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Off Limits Show. Thanks for joining me tonight on Call Me Maybe. This is show number 24 of 24 of 365.
It's fun.
I'm coming to you from Dallas, Texas, as always, and it's Monday, January 26th at midnight. So thanks for listening. If you're listening live, if you're listening in the archives, wherever you're listening, thank you. That was Lily Allen with Fuck You, one of the staples of this show. I've played that song since it came out. I mean, after it came out, years ago. So it's been a long time staple of the Off Limits Show. It pretty much says everything I want to say. That's that fucking thing. Apparently, or she reportedly wrote that song about George Bush Jr., the second, 44 or whatever. So, it's quite apropos for this show. Anyway, so tonight I'm doing Call Me Maybe. I call it that because I'm doing call-in shows again. So if you decide you'd like to listen to the show live, if you're listening to the show live on offlimitsshow.com or on Spreaker.com or wherever you're listening to it from, if you're listening live, you can call me at 214-377-0481 and we can talk about whatever's on your mind, okay? Any topic at all, just let me know what you want to talk about and we'll talk about it. We also, you can call for free using Skype if you want to. My Skype name is Off Limits Show, so feel free to do that as well. You can call anytime during the show if you want. I probably won't get a lot of listeners callers tonight, because when I did this show initially, I did it on Blog Talk Radio, where they have the switchboard built in and everything. And a lot of people on Spreaker do not have the capability to take phone calls, or they haven't figured out how or whatever. I've had the capability since I came on here or switched over here a couple of years ago, but it's very rare that I hear shows on here that have callers. So, and I like to have callers so I can actually talk to people about, whatever's on their mind, and also just about whatever the topics are we're discussing on the show that night, because I certainly prefer to have conversation with other people than just sit here with a monologue the whole show. So anyway, once again, if you want to call in, the number is 214-377-0481. If you dare, feel free. So there is a story about this anti-gay Tennessee school that denied admission to the child of gay parents. And these two gay men, Brian Copeland and Greg Bullard, had decided they wanted to send their kids to this private school. And they'd been searching for a local school where they could do that. And they're Christians, and one of them is even a pastor at a church. And so they had inquired about, institutions in the area that would allow them to have their child attend because they're gay parents or whatever. And unfortunately, one of their friend of theirs had said Davidson Academy, which is a Christian school in Tennessee, wherever they're from in Tennessee, was I think Memphis or something. I'm not sure where, but even though it was Christian, did not have any direct religious affiliation with any particular church, and that they probably would be fine with it. They actually said they would be fine with it. And so when they applied to it or called and inquired about it, they actually got a letter stating that even though they're not directly affiliated with a Christian denomination, they are a Christian school, and they, quote, believe God has revealed himself, his purposes, and his ways in the Bible, which is therefore absolute in its truth and authority over daily living, end quote. So that's what they said. And they went on to reprimand them for being gay, essentially, and telling them why it was wrong to be gay and blah, blah, blah in the letter. And so they essentially said they didn't even want to meet with them. It was not, there was no point in meeting about this issue or their kids or whatever. And I have two feelings about this. And one is that it's, first of all, it's not a surprise at all, especially in Tennessee, that you would come across this kind of an issue. And most people, most gay people, I don't think would even, unless you're trying to make a political statement, attempt to do this, because it's not the gay people's fault. It's not the gay parents' fault at all. It's the schools for being bigots. But I just want to say that, what do you expect? You live in Tennessee. You live in Tennessee. That doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean it's easy to swallow, but it is Tennessee, a very, very deeply Southern state, and a very, very bigoted state, not just against gays, but against, all sorts of people, obviously. So to think that you could, to be shocked by this, rather, and to be appalled are two different things. To be appalled, that's fine. It's understanding, and I agree. You should be appalled. But to be shocked by it when you choose to live in a state, like Tennessee, and expect people to just be open arms about you, it's just, I think, ignorant. And I'm not sure that that's how they feel, or that's what they think, or if they're just appalled, and that's understandable. But if they're surprised, it's ridiculous to be surprised about it. I personally, I live here in Texas, and, I complain about the place all the time, and I could pick up and move my life somewhere else. But the point is as it is for them, I'm sure as well, they've made a life there. They have family in there. They have friends there. They have jobs there. It's not as if you can just pick up, after a certain point in your life, just pick up and move across the country to a more liberal state or area where they will accept you and your children, because you have a lot of things invested in where you live already. And we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to move away from where we live in order to be not discriminated against because we're different. Our families look different than the families of heterosexuals. And to punish a child for that is wrong as well. And so I don't really understand what it has to do with them being gay anyway. If a Christian school, if they want to send their child to a Christian school, which I have no idea why they would choose to do that anyway. I mean, obviously they are Christian. That, of course, is their choice. Oh, wait, we've got somebody in a thing here. JD Production, hey. JD Production says, woohoo, you don't want me to call in, I'm quite drunk. Well, maybe that's all the better. He says, my feeling is that they're assholes. That is that state's problem, not the parents. I don't think they're a surprise at all. Yeah, and yeah, I agree. I think it's the state's problem as well, but it is the parents that have it's their issue. It's unfortunately not it's their problem to deal with, I mean, is what I'm trying to say. But it's I'm just saying they shouldn't be surprised by it. And as I was saying, living here in Texas, and I'm not surprised by any of that kind of behavior either. You come to expect it when you live in a state where you're surrounded by a bunch of redneck, assholes. And some of them have millions of dollars, and some of them are rednecks who live in the country and have no teeth and are on welfare. I mean, rednecks come in all shapes and forms and sizes, let me tell you. But they are everywhere here. And so, especially Texas has a specific type of personality. Texans, I mean, and I was born and raised here, and I think Texans generally have somewhat of a rebellious spirit about ourselves. We certainly do. Maybe it's because we were the only state to ever be its own country. We were our own republic at one point, and we seceded from the Union and all that stuff, whatever. And we were our own state, blah, blah, blah. And so I think that country. I think that is part of our tradition here, and it's somewhat kind of passed down generation to generation in the way people think in in Texas. And it's good on one hand. It can be a good thing, and on the other hand, it can be a stupid thing because people are so obstinate and stupid here as well. He says, sometimes you have to do things for your kids that you don't want to. If they move to New York, there are many religious schools that would take them. Yeah, and I think that's exactly the point I was starting to make when I saw that you were in here. I was going to say that if you send your kid to a Christian school and you want them to go to a Christian school to have Christian values, well, that's one of the Christian values. Being, homosexuality, being wrong is generally one of the main Christian values people, have in the South especially. And, not every Christian believes that. And I don't think it's a Christian value to have, but it is, unfortunately, a Christian value that is, espoused by most Christians. Therefore, I say it is a Christian value. So to send your kid to a school like that, where they're going to tell them that their own parents are evil and wrong and, wrong and gross or whatever, are going to hell, is mind-boggling to me. And they're going to be teaching these children things that are against your own belief system. So I don't understand why someone would want to send them. It's like, to me, like a black person sending their kids to a Nazi camp. It's like, or a school that's run by Nazis or something, or neo-Nazis. That, to me, is the same thing. Why would you want to send your child into that kind of environment where they're already starting off on a difficult leg because their parents are different than most people's parents, and they're going to be singled out because of that. And then you want to send them to a place where people in general who are teaching, and they're supposed to protect your children, do not have their best interest at heart anyway. So it's not the kid's fault, and yet they'll still be punished for it. And so I just think it's a bad idea all around. Whether or not the school says we accept your kid, I think it's a bad idea. So it says Utah was its own country, silly. Was it? That must have been before it was its own. That must have been before it was its state, though, because Texas was a state, and then it seceded, and then it became its own country, republic, and then it rejoined the Union and all that stuff. I'm not talking about the Civil War. I'm talking about its own, so I think Utah was its own country or whatever. If that's true, I don't think that's true. But if it is true, then it must have been before they were ever a state. But I don't know. Maybe you're right. You could be right. Who knows? Anyway, but yeah, so that's what I think about that story. I think it's ludicrous to put your kid into the fire, so to speak, when you are when you have to kind of contend with that kind of bigotry and the ridiculousness of what those people believe in. And why would you want to send your children to that